The media recently reported that NASA scientists made a huge discovery over Antarctica, suggesting they might have found real evidence of a parallel universe. Apparently, NASA experts launched a giant helium balloon carrying an instrument called ANITA, which stands for the Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna. ANITA is designed to detect neutrinos, and the goal was to catch neutrinos traveling down from space and hitting Earth. But back in 2016, when they analyzed the data, they were completely stunned. Their data was the exact opposite of what they expected. Neutrinos are supposed to come from deep space and travel downwards, but the ANITA team found that these particular neutrinos were actually shooting up out of the Earth and flying into space. Just that observation alone is hard for scientists to explain. Even more significantly, Neil Turok, a scientist at Canada's Perimeter Institute, reanalyzed the 2016 data and found that the neutrinos they observed were a completely new type that had never been seen before. Instead of the expected left-handed spin, these neutrinos had a right-handed spin. This has scientists both excited and completely baffled, as it totally breaks all current physics models. So, Peter Gorham, a scientist on the ANITA project, came up with a bold theory. Those right-handed neutrinos flying out of Earth might actually be coming from another parallel universe. The idea of a parallel universe isn't just something from science fiction movies. Scientists have been theorizing about the existence of parallel universes for a long time. They just haven't had concrete proof until now. The theory suggests that when our universe was created during the Big Bang, many other parallel universes were also created, universes that we can't see or touch. It's like blowing through a straw into a glass of water and creating a bunch of little bubbles. When our universe was formed, other parallel universes were formed alongside it. And the laws of physics in those other universes might be completely different, or even the exact opposite of ours. For example, in our universe, neutrinos hit Earth from space, but in a parallel universe, the opposite might be true. They fly from Earth into space. Our neutrinos are left-handed, and theirs are right-handed. Our time moves forward, and their time moves backward. Our universe is expanding, while theirs is collapsing. Now, we need to be clear. Scientists have stated that this finding is only indirect evidence and doesn't definitively prove that a parallel universe exists. Still, it's a very exciting finding. The ANITA experiment also reminds me of an old urban legend about Antarctica. The story goes that on January 27th, 1954, American physicists found a continuously rotating grayish-white smoke over the continent. They initially thought it was a normal dust storm, but the strange thing was that the smoke didn't change shape or move over time, which is really weird. If you stare at clouds, they constantly change shape and eventually drift away. Why did this Antarctic smoke just spin in place? So, researchers launched a weather balloon equipped with instruments to measure wind speed, temperature, and humidity. The balloon shot up and quickly disappeared into the smoke. A little while later, they reeled the balloon back in using the attached string. The shocking part? The balloon's timer displayed the date of January 27th, 1965. The time had literally gone backward by 30 years. Scientists supposedly speculated that this might be a space-time portal connecting us to a parallel universe, a doorway to travel back in time. I used to think this urban legend was ridiculous. I mean, what kind of instrument can measure that the time inside that smoke was 1965, 30 years earlier? How could a normal timer show time moving backward by 30 years? Maybe I'm just ignorant, and maybe a device that measures time reversal actually exists. But don't you find it odd how similar the story of the Antarctic space-time portal is to the ANITA experiment? Both involve the South Pole, both use balloon detection, and both are linked to a parallel universe. It makes you wonder for a second if that urban legend could have been based on something real. In fact, an author named Ernst Zündel wrote a book called UFOs, Nazi Secret Weapon, claiming Hitler didn't actually die. The story says he and his last troops took a submarine to Argentina and then established a UFO base in a cave in the South Pole that leads to the center of the Earth. They supposedly entered an underground world and cut off all ties with human history. That might be just a novelist's fantasy. However, during World War II, when things weren't going well, Hitler did try to do things like reverse time to go back to the beginning of the war and correct his mistakes. Rumor has it, he sent people to Tibet to look for the Earth's axis and also sent scientists to Antarctica hoping to open a space-time portal there. There are rumors that after World War II, both the US and the former Soviet Union found secret Nazi files claiming Hitler had sent a group of top German scientists to Antarctica to secretly develop advanced weapons to conquer the world. Later, agents from both countries verified that Hitler had indeed sent his confidant Alfred Richter to the South Pole in 1939 with numerous scientists, engineers, and experimental gear. The US and the Soviet Union desperately tried to find the research data and the whereabouts of Richter's scientists, but never found a single clue. They did confirm that over 2,000 German and Italian scientists had simply vanished. Could the space-time portal the American physicists supposedly found in Antarctica have been left behind by those German scientists? Everyone will have their own take on that. Let's use our imagination here. If a parallel universe is real, maybe it could explain many of the things we can't figure out now. Why do humans dream? There's still no scientific consensus. Some people say that in their dreams, they are much smarter and have better memories than they are in real life. Sometimes when I dream, I find myself knowing chemistry or physics concepts that I have absolutely no knowledge of otherwise. The standard scientific explanation is that you might have seen that knowledge before and your subconscious stored it, but others think it's the parallel universe theory at work. Maybe the other you in a parallel universe was a dedicated scholar. And when I'm sleeping, I accidentally cross into that parallel universe, gaining access to knowledge I never studied. This might not just happen in dreams. Let's look at another urban legend. One normal day in 1954, at Tokyo's Haneda Airport, a routine flight arrived from Europe. As passengers went through customs, a well-dressed, middle-aged white man caught a customs officer's attention. The man claimed it was a standard business trip and his third time visiting Japan. But when the customs officer asked where he was from, things got bizarre. He casually said he was from a country called Torrid. The customs officer searched every world map, but couldn't find a country named Torrid. When the customs officer asked for his passport, it was covered in stamps proving numerous trips to Japan and other countries. His wallet was full of various European currencies. Everything looked normal, but the passport was genuinely issued by a non-existent country called Torrid, complete with visa stamps. The customs officer showed him a map and pointed to the small country of Andorra, asking if he was mistaken. Andorra, which many people haven't heard of, is a real microstate located between France and Spain, covering only 468 square kilometers, less than half the size of Hong Kong. But the man got furious. "What are you talking about? There's no country called Andorra. I am a legitimate citizen of Torrid. My country has existed for thousands of years." He was genuinely proud of his nation. The customs officer called the company he claimed to be working with and the hotel he was supposed to stay at, but nobody had heard of him. Even the banks listed on his checkbook didn't exist. Completely stumped, the customs officers detained him in a nearby airport hotel. The next morning, it got even weirder. The man had completely vanished from his guarded hotel room. Immigration officials had been watching the room all night. Even more mysteriously, all of his personal documents, passport, driver's license, disappeared from the airport security room as if he had never been there. The speculation is that this person came from another parallel universe. He fell asleep on the plane, crossed into our world, and when he fell asleep while detained, he crossed back to his original world, like waking up from a dream. People who've had near-death experiences, or NDEs, often say their soul leaves their body, floating above it, and they can look down on the scene, often describing the frantic activity around them. Then they float up into the sky and sometimes into the universe. The key part is that many NDE survivors report seeing a tunnel with a bright white light at the end. If they go through the tunnel, they'll leave this world for good. But those who return often say that just as they approach the tunnel, they hear a loud voice, the voice of God, who people have searched for their whole lives, telling them their time isn't up and sending them back to their bodies. Some even say God gives them a choice, return to your body or continue through the tunnel. Others simply say a mysterious unknown force threw them back into their body. This tunnel with a bright white light might be the intersection between two parallel worlds. When a person dies, they might not simply disappear. They might just enter another parallel universe. As we said earlier, scientists theorize that the fundamental properties of two parallel universes might be complete opposites, including time. Time moves forward in our world, but backward in the other. Perhaps when someone in our world dies, that's when the other them in the parallel world is born.